Okay.
All right, good evening and welcome to this another edition of Zoom Facebook Live Showtime TV. I'm your host, Omar Rashada. Today's special is of course today is Juneteenth, which is a big deal, which is now I guess it's a national holiday in the celebration of African American freedom. And we're waiting to start the show off, Women in Performing Arts, and I have from Atlanta, Georgia. She's an actress and director and producer, Miss Monique Willams. Good evening and welcome, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, now let's start off. How did you get involved with the performing arts?
Okay, this was back in 19.
It ain't been that long ago. It was only 3 years ago.
We're talking like over 15, 20 years I've been in the business. And actually the way I got into it is a coworker of mine.
Okay.
Said she heard me like doing some of my little voices, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" She said, "You know what?" And this is like when I was in New York. She said there is an audition for it was a Black festival going on in Harlem, and she said you need to go audition. I said I don't have any headshots. I don't have any. Anyway, she pushed me out there and told me to go get headshots, and she helped me get a little monologue together. I didn't have any of that. I was not on the track of pursuing acting. So I had none of the marketing tools that you need as an actress. And so from that audition, I got a call back, which was, I was like, oh my gosh. And honestly, that is, even though I didn't get the role, but that is what spearheaded me into becoming an actress. Like just that, from that little bug of just getting a call back, I was like, wow, they saw something in me. And that actually is what got me started in pursuing acting. That's crazy. That's like really cool.
No, what you're acting, was it just play performances? Was it film? Was it television? Combination of all?
It was my first introduction was my heart, which is theater. That's my love. That's where I feel most alive, is on stage, and that is primarily where my foundation is in performing. I've done TV, I've done some film, I've done a couple of commercials, but where I come alive is where I felt like I love stage. I love stage.
Right. So out of all the productions that you were involved in, which ones would you say stood out the most? Which ones would you say, you know, this was a great production that I really, really enjoyed doing?
Okay. There is 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
It would be 3.
Okay.
And now I will say, let me just say this before I tell you about the 3.
Okay, got you.
I've been blessed to have been a part of some nice smaller, you know, productions and some other productions, original pieces of work.
Right.
So it's not to discount those pieces of work. But these 3, which was Gem of the Ocean by August Wilson.
Oh man.
Yeah, Raisin in the Sun.
Oh, yeah.
Where I played Ruth. And there's an original piece of work called Domestic Damages.
Okay.
And because it was dealing with a social cause that is very near and dear to me, because domestic violence has affected my family, not me personally, but members of my family. So that is a cause that is kind of near. So to be a part of, you know, those type of works, it really fills me, and it fulfills me, you know, doing it. So yeah.
Now, have you ever written any plays yourself? Have you ever directed any plays? Or movies?
Now I have not written anything. I've been gently pushed in the direction of doing it from my very good friend, who is, her name is Robin Baker. And if she's out there listening and watching, thank you, Robin, because she is also the one who gave me my opportunity to direct. my first piece. And it was called Best Kept Secrets, and it was in New York. And so that was my first, directorial debut, and it was awesome. I had a great cast, and so they made it easy. These were some talented sisters and brothers, I'm telling you.
Right. Now, outside of Atlanta, Georgia, where have you performed? I know you just mentioned New York. Was there any other place like Philadelphia, Arizona, Connecticut?
Now I've had the pleasure. I used to, when I was in New York, I was with a company. Oh my gosh, where am I? I just drew like a daggone blank. I'm sorry, it was called Positive Entertainment.
Right.
And it was with that company that I was blessed to be able to travel. So I performed in Buffalo. I performed in Syracuse. Now, even though New Jersey is not far, but I've actually been able to perform at Newark Symphony Hall with another, not with this company, but with another company. So I was able to, do that. And when I was living in New York, I actually had the pleasure of performing out here in Georgia. Isn't that crazy? It's like,
oh, wow.
And at that time, I didn't know I was going to be relocating to Georgia. But yeah, so I've had in South Carolina, I've performed there with other pieces. So I've had the pleasure of traveling, not too far, but I would love to perform in like Nigeria.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Africa, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. So when you were in New York, South Carolina, Georgia, is there like a different vibe of the audience? Like, and one is the audience more liver in another city? They more talkative? Because if you have African American production and you're performing in front of African Americans, we can talk. But the audience be talking. The audience they be into it. So I'm saying, is there one place would you say is more livelier than the other, or is it about the same?
You know what? Honestly, I'm going to say the state didn't matter. I'm going to tell you what I did find that was different.
Okay.
And it was the audience. I've performed for churches. Okay. And then just like the general public, I tell you, the church folk.
Oh yeah, they really give you. They talk, yeah.
Oh, they give you some, they give it to you. I mean, to me, honestly, Black American people, anyway, we are just a spirited type people. And we love to talk to the actors and stuff on stage. But I also know that most people who know theater and love theater, they know not to talk too much because it can be disruptive to the performance. So they'll do a little talking, but not too much.
One of the things that I like about theater more so than film and television, I mean, I love all three, but I more experience in theater is that audience reaction. Because I think when the audience cheer you on, go ahead, girl, tell them, that builds your self-esteem up. And when you do a scene, they clap, that builds your self-esteem up. But I also like the silence, because when the audience is completely silent, they're into the scene. I mean, laughing is good, but I also like to see the audience cry, because if you can make an audience cry, or if you can make an audience angry, you're doing your job as an actor or actress.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because, as an actor, that's one of the things that we want to make sure that we do as far as our job on stage. And I mean, we can't affect, we can't control how the audience feels. Because, when you think about it, I can't do a particular role or scene and just have in my mind already predestined that, I'm trying to make this person cry, or I'm trying to make this person angry. As an actor, I have to do the work to make sure I'm being very truthful in those given circumstances at the time. And guess what? It's going to affect, if the audience is being organic, which most audience members are, because they don't know what they're going to see, they have to go with how that performance is making them feel. That's why theater is very challenging. It is hard because you have to keep that audience engaged.
Oh yeah.
You have to keep that, because like you said, if after the show, you have them audience members saying, and that's what I love, and that's what I look for, where they're like, sis, they want to hug you, and they're like, man, or they'll say, I was mad at you. Right, I was like, I did my job. Yeah, if that's how it made you feel, my character, then I'm like, okay, because I got something from you. I got some feelings from you.
But also one of the things, when you do like a 3-day production or a 4-day or 5-day production, the audience each night may react differently. So what I think that I've learned is that one night the audience laughs. So the second night I'm thinking they're gonna laugh at the scene, but they may not laugh. They may laugh at something else that the first audience didn't do. So I mean, it's fun though. It's fun. Yeah. Being this is Juneteenth, dealing with African American history. I want to ask who are some of because the topic of the program is African American women in performing arts. So who are some of the African American females in this line of work that you just truly admire? Like for me, example, Viola Davis. I mean, she's awesome. She's one of the best. You got Angela Bassett. I mean, it's just so many. So I want you to name the females that you admire, and then if you want to name some males, because my man is Denzel Washington. That's how I roll with, Okay.
Well, you know what? You've already mentioned two of my fellow actresses that I love. I love Angela Bassett. I love Cicely Tyson.
Oh wow, yes.
Viola Davis. And in the beginning, I wasn't like a big follower of her work, but now I'm starting to see her in more stuff. Octavia Spencer.
Right.
I'm seeing her, and I'm loving her. And let me tell you what I love about those women that I just named.
Okay.
And this is not, so let me just preface what I'm about to say.
Okay.
This is not to knock any actress out there who decides to play a role that may show some type of nudity or whatever. I'm not disrespecting them.
Okay.
But those women, I have never seen them in a role where if there was some type of nudity, that it wasn't tasteful. I don't know any role. These women are classy, and what it has shown me is that I don't need to play certain roles to display my art, to show what I can do. And that's what keeps me grounded. And like I said, this is not to knock anybody who wants to play whatever role they do, but those women I just really look up to, because they've shown me they are very selective in their roles. They just don't pick anything. And they really have just been in very good pieces. And so those are the women that I really kind of look up to and watch.
Right. Mm-hmm. I look, TV One is a channel that I watch quite often, and they show some of the old shows like What's Happening, Sanford and Son, Good Times, and you look at during that time period, you had sitcoms, you had the Cosby Show, you had Different World, you had Rock, you had shows that your family can come together every night and watch. Today, what is it? Reality TV shows, you got sisters, fighting one another. So from an actor standpoint, what do you think about how there were sitcoms in the past, but today, I mean, I don't really see those type of shows today.
I know. Now I'm gonna tell you, let's talk about reality TV.
Okay.
For a second. Okay. Now, I know you got all kinds of television out there. Like you said, you got sitcoms, you got comedies, you got all of this stuff out there. So now there's a space that's been created for reality television.
Right.
What I don't like about it, as an actress and a woman, a Black woman.
Right. Okay. You froze up a little bit. Hopefully they come back. Okay, we'll take a short break. Having some technical difficulties. We'll take a short break. Um, He was on a roll too, bro. Yeah, he was rolling. Okay, we'll take a short break.
Okay.
All right, we're about to go back. Let me see.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
All right.
It was
All
getting
right.
good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead to finish your point.
Okay, so what I don't like about the reality TV shows, one, they're not 100% unscripted. It's all designed, of course, for entertainment. But I don't like the way that Black women are portraying themselves, on television, and in that light, where there's the fighting, there's the uh, you know, sister against sister. And to me, it's just all for a check. It's just, purely for entertainment. Now, one could say, listen, this is just entertainment and that's just what it is. But I just feel like when we put ourselves in those situations, when we make the decisions to play those particular parts and roles, it just kind of knocks us back. Honestly, it just knocks us back. It's already hard for us anyway as a Black woman actress. And most of these people are not even actresses. They're getting their 15 or 20 minutes of fame,
Right.
some longer because it could be a season. So sometimes it's more than 15, 20 minutes. But I'm just saying, I don't particularly like it. I don't watch it. I honestly, I've heard of them, like the Housewives, and I know you got Basketball Wives and this and that. I don't know. Love and Hip Hop. I don't know those. I don't know those characters. I don't watch it.
Right.
It's not.
There's a lot going on with the the protests and the demonstrations involving the death of Mr. George Floyd, which was a terrible death. Do you think that performers and entertainers have an obligation and duty to get involved in this movement?
Yes. Well, let me say this. I do believe that each person have to do what they feel is right for them. And so let me just add, getting involved in the George Floyd type movement is more than just the injustice that we are dealing with, the police, right? So when you speak about artists, we also are dealing with injustices within the industry. And so we do need to get involved with it because it is some form of injustice. And I think we do need to support, others that are protesting, that it might just be mainly for that. Let's just say, like, because we want, just like we would want as artists, we would want people to support our movement and our fight if we were protesting against injustice in the artist community. So I think we do need to support this movement as well, as artists, because we're dealing with a form of injustice as well. I personally have not had to deal with that, but a lot of my brothers and sisters in the TV film industry, in the theater industry, have dealt with racism, on some level.
Right, definitely. Again, they're dealing with history. Juneteenth special. As an actor, one of the things that I always do is I like giving honor. You got Cindy Pontier, you have Harley Belafonte, you mentioned Cicely Tyson. As an actress, talk about the significance of them paving the way for us, the younger generations, in terms of getting out there and doing acting. Because if it wasn't for those actors and actresses as such, who knows if we might have had the opportunity that we have today.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's interesting that you mentioned some of the pioneers, like you said, the Harry Belafontes,
right?
The Sidney Poitier, even before to even Nat King Cole.
Oh yeah.
Nat King Cole, because I'm just saying, like, he was one of the first Black people, like he had his own show. Flip Wilson. I'm just saying, like, all of these Black people, all of these pioneers that, was before us, how they paved the way for, there you go. They paved the way for a lot, for us. We're standing on their shoulders. Or the ones from, the 40s, 50s, and they had to deal with, the Amos and all those people,
right?
So they have really paved the way for us, where we are, today. And yes, we are still dealing with a lot, but man, we've come a long way from what they had to deal with. The roles, just think about it, the roles that we had to take as Black people, right? The maids, it was like that kind of, that buffoonery type thing, the shucking and jiving. And you know what? But that's all they had during that time, and they were artists and they wanted to perform. So, they took those roles. But look where we are now.
Yeah, definitely.
We have control. We have more control. Yes. You see more independence out there. The rise of the independent artists.
Right. So is Atlanta the place to go for, particularly, as an African-American actors and producers, directors, is Atlanta a good place to go for that? That's what I heard.
Yes. Honestly, I would say, since I've been here, I've seen the Black theater community, been involved in a lot of the festivals. Right. Whereas, And that's not to say New York didn't have it, because New York does have their Black festivals and their type of events. But since I've been in Atlanta, I've taken more part in those type of festivals. You have the Bronze Lens Festival, which showcases directors and writers in film. You know, so you have that. Then you have the American Black Theater Festival that's here, that's headed by Toni Henson, wonderful woman. You know, I work with New African Grove Black Theater. You know, so there are a lot of events. It's really a good place to get your work out. You know, get your work done, and a lot of other organizations to partner with, like, and even for people who are into Christian TV and film, you got Kingdomwood, which is awesome. So I mean, to me, it really is a great place to partner and to network. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a couple minutes remaining, 2 minutes. So you want to have closing comments, words of inspiration for those who are wanting to think about acting and get into the field. What words of advice do you have for them? And then do you have any upcoming projects? Did you see things going virtual? Did you see me doing stage performance virtual?
Oh my God! Listen, it's already happening. Listen, we as artists, and I knew it was bound to happen. We can't just sit stagnant. People still are going to find ways to be creative. So I've seen people doing stage readings virtually. I've seen live streaming. We at New African Grove, what we did to kind of stay relevant and to try to do some things, we streamed one of our shows, Sins of the Father, an original piece. It had Torian Black. It starred Torian Black. Remember from Hill Street Blues?
Yeah.
Yes. So he was in it. And so we streamed that. So there's all kind of ways that artists and theater companies are being, you know, creative. Right. One of the things that I would say in closing to people who are looking to get into this business, first and foremost, if you are doing this, are you trying to get into acting to make like this big, like you want to be this big superstar, or like, you know, oh, I just want to do it for the fame and for the glory. Right. I really don't know if this is for you, because honestly, a lot of time you have to love this work. Right. And you have to have tough skin. And that's not to say don't do it, but what I'm saying is I want people to have the mindset of that it takes work. Commitment. And it takes tenacity, and it takes consistency, and it takes drive. I do this because I love it. Right. I don't do it for the money. The money will come if that's what I love, performing in front of people, and I love moving people. Right. I love the idea of just, you know, doing that. So if you want to get into this business, then I say, yes, do it, but do it because you have the passion and the heart for it. Right. Not don't do it because you're chasing the check. Right. If you do it for the love, it comes naturally. Oh yeah, the money and the blessings will come. I'm telling you, if you do it from the heart and for the passion of it, the money will come. Okay, yes, that's definitely true. Now, someone just came in. A little minute remains, so we made this extend the show for a little bit, but okay. You know, if someone wanted to contact you, how can they contact you? Well, if they wanted to contact me, they can follow me on Instagram at Mo Andress. That's MOANDRESS. And also at look for me on New African Grove page on Facebook. So that would be great if you want to follow me there, because I am a part of that theater company. And so we are looking to grow and expand and get new viewers. So yes, follow me there, like the page, and keep up to date on what we're doing. Now just joining us, we have a famous singer from Washington, D.C. Awesome. Harley. Good evening, Harley. What's going on?
Good. I'm sorry. I don't know how. I kept looking for the email, so I apologize. It was user error. And I was just like, I thought I put it in my calendar, and I was like combing through the emails, and I was like, I was like, is it 7? Is it 7:30? I'm like, oh my God. So I apologize.
Okay, and this is Monique Willams, actress from Atlanta, Georgia. All right. So, Nina, how'd you get started in terms of being a singer?
I have been singing probably. I can't remember a time when I wasn't singing, but I sang all through college. I was actually a theater major, a directing major, and I thought that I was going to go out and be a playwright and director. I still write, but just mostly for personal gratification and creativity and expression. But I was already singing. I was already performing in bands. And when I left school, I ended up moving to New York a few years later and auditioning. And I was working on albums. And I guess I've always sung. And I was with this band when I came. I left and got this bug to go to Africa. I came back from Africa. I joined a band. Hold on, my phone is doing something weird. Did you all hear that?
Yeah, I'm good. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. And after I came back from Africa, I started doing a songwriting workshop with 2 other musicians. And it started with us meeting in his basement, I won't say every Saturday, maybe every other Saturday at first.
Right.
And the next thing I knew, we were, doing, he was like, we got together after a few meetings and he was like, hey, listen, I think we might have an opportunity to play, yada, da, da, da place. And I was like, okay. And the next thing I knew, we were, then we needed, more instrumentation. So we got a bass player and a drummer. The next thing you knew, we were a full on band.
Right.
So after playing with them for about 8 years, and having, nice successful run up and down the East Coast into the Midwest and back. We even got a little blurb, a little write up in Billboard magazine.
Okay.
Just a little, little blurb, but it was something.
It's a start.
And we started. I don't remember exactly how things started to dismantle, but when a band's been together for that long, you are more than just musicians who play together. You become family. So when it was time for us to kind of dismantle the project, it was really hard and it was, challenging for us. But each of us were doing other things. I traveled, being I want to say road. I guess to give you a grander sense of it, I was like basically like a road manager for an a cappella group, and we traveled all over the world. So I was doing that in the midst of that project. I really had, dreams of Sweet Honey in the Rock is one of my favorite singing groups.
Right.
So each of the women who sing with Sweet Honey are an instrument and a force all within themselves, like individually. And then when you put all that power together, and then the healing music that they actually administer and perform is just incredible. And I identified with that work that they were doing in the world. And I always wanted to, if I was going to sing, I wanted it to be that impactful. I wanted it to be that kind of healing medicine. You could look out in the audience and just see people just, healed at the heart level. And I was just like, that's what I want to do with my music. That's what I want to do with my gift.
Right.
And I knew.
Yeah, it's going to cut off soon. So okay. How can people contact you?
I have Facebook. I'm Nina Songbird on Facebook. Nina Songbird Harley on Facebook. I'm Nina E. Lane. Nina, the letter E, last name Lane, on Instagram. And on Linktree, it's Linktree / Nina Songbird.
Okay, Monique, right quick. What's your email? What's your contact? What's your Facebook? Or
okay, so you can follow me on Instagram at Mo Andress, MOANDRESS, and also like the page New African Grove on Facebook.
All right, ladies, we got to do this again. It was an honor and a privilege. Two awesome, beautiful ladies. Shout out to all the ladies in the performing arts.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting this.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. Anytime.